sometimes the most dangerous teams at a World Cup aren't the favorites. They're the teams nobody is talking about. The teams hidden behind bigger headlines, bigger stars, bigger expectations. And that's exactly why Netherlands versus Japan feels so fascinating. Because while much of the football world is discussing France, Brazil, Argentina, Portugal, and England, two teams capable of causing serious problems are quietly preparing for what could become one of the best group stage matches of the entire tournament. The Netherlands, a nation that has played in 3 World Cup finals, a nation that has produced some of football's greatest minds, and a nation still chasing the one trophy that has always escaped them, against Japan, a team that no longer arrives at World Cups hoping to compete, a team that arrives expecting to win. And perhaps the strangest part of this story is that one analyst believes the Netherlands might actually win the entire tournament, not because of form, not because of tactics, not because of players, but because of mathematics, GDP, population, football culture, FIFA rankings. According to one famous German analyst, all the numbers point toward the Netherlands. The reaction from ESPN FC? Let's just say they weren't convinced. In fact, some of them laughed at the idea. But that raises an interesting question. Are people underestimating the Dutch, or are they overestimating them? Before we go any further, I've got a question for you. Right now, before this match kicks off, who goes further in this World Cup? The Netherlands or Japan? Drop your answer in the comments because I have a feeling football fans are going to disagree on this one. Now let's get into it. When people talk about the Netherlands, the conversation usually starts with history. And honestly, it has to. Few nations have contributed more to football than the Dutch. Total football. Johan Cruyff. The great Ajax teams. 3 World Cup finals. A European championship. Generation after generation of elite players. And yet somehow, despite all that influence, the World Cup remains missing. That's what makes this team so interesting. Because every Dutch generation eventually gets compared to the ones that came before it. The Cruyff generation, the Van Basten generation, the Robben and Sneijder generation. And that's where doubts begin to appear. Because when ESPN FC discussed the Netherlands recently, one theme kept coming up. This team is good, but is it special? That question matters. Because being a quarterfinal team and being a World Cup winning team are 2 completely different things. The Dutch have talent. Nobody questions that. Cody Gakpo remains one of the most dangerous attackers in international football. Frankie de Jong controls games from midfield. The squad is filled with players competing at the highest level. But several analysts pointed towards something concerning. Consistency. Virgil van Dijk remains one of the leaders of this team. But some observers believe he hasn't looked quite the same. Others question whether several key players have produced their best football recently. And that's why many experts continue to place the Netherlands slightly below the biggest favorites. Not because they're weak, because they aren't, but because they haven't fully convinced people they can beat the very best teams repeatedly. Still, football isn't played on reputation, and that's where Japan enters the story. Because Japan might be one of the most underestimated teams at this World Cup. Think about what they've done in recent years. They beat Germany. They beat Spain. They consistently compete against elite nations. And perhaps most importantly, they don't fear anyone anymore. That detail matters. A lot. For years, many Asian teams arrive at World Cups hoping to avoid embarrassment. Japan have moved far beyond that stage. Now they arrive believing they belong. And belief changes everything. One Japanese player recently summed up their mentality perfectly. He pointed out that Japan's strengths aren't just attacking. They aren't just defending. They aren't just organization. It's the combination of all 3. And when you watch Japan play, that becomes obvious. They work together. They defend together. They attack together. And they make life incredibly difficult for opponents. That's why this matchup feels so intriguing. Because stylistically, these teams create problems for each other. The Netherlands want control. Japan want intensity. The Netherlands want to build attacks patiently. Japan want to disrupt rhythm and attack quickly. The Netherlands want space between the lines. Japan want to close those spaces immediately. Neither approach is necessarily better. But the clash between them should be fascinating. And that's where the tactical battle begins. For the Netherlands, everything starts in midfield. Frankie de Jong remains one of the best controllers of possession in world football. When he's comfortable, the Dutch become comfortable. When he's dictating tempo, the Dutch become dangerous. Japan know that, which means expect pressure, expect running, expect constant movement around the ball. Because if Japan can prevent the Netherlands from settling into their rhythm, they immediately increase their chances. And that's exactly what they've done against elite opponents before. Quick question. If you're enjoying the preview, hit the like button. And while you're doing that, tell me this. Who would you rather build a team around right now? Cody Gakpo or Keira Mitoma? That's a debate I'd love to see in the comments. Now here's where things become even more interesting. Because this game isn't just about the Netherlands and Japan. It's about expectations. The Netherlands arrive carrying pressure. Japan arrive carrying opportunity. The Dutch are expected to qualify, expected to reach the knockout rounds, expected to challenge. Japan? Not so much. And that difference creates freedom. Freedom allows players to take risks. Freedom allows teams to play without fear. Freedom creates surprises. That's one reason World Cups are so unpredictable. And Japan have become specialists at creating unpredictability. But there's another side to this story. The Netherlands know tournament football. They know pressure. They know how to survive difficult moments. And sometimes experience matters. A lot, especially in group stage matches where one mistake can change everything. The Dutch may not be among the top 3 favorites. They may not have convinced everyone. But they still possess something many nations would love to have. A squad full of players accustomed to playing massive games, Champions League games, league title races, European championships, World Cups. Those experiences become valuable when matches become tense. And I think this match will become tense. Very tense. Because I don't see either team dominating. I don't see either team running away with it. I see a game decided by moments. One transition, one mistake, one piece of quality, one moment of brilliance. That's usually how matches like this are decided. So what happens? Honestly, I think Japan make this extremely difficult. I think they frustrate the Netherlands. I think they create opportunities. And I think they remind everyone why they are one of the most dangerous teams outside football's traditional powers. But over 90 minutes, I still trust the Dutch qualities slightly more. Not much, just enough. My prediction? Netherlands 2, Japan 1. A close game, a tactical game, and possibly one of the best matches of the entire group stage. Because if either team wins this convincingly, the rest of the tournament will start paying attention. And that might be the biggest story of all. Before we finish, let me know your prediction in the comments. Can Japan shock another football giant? Or are we about to see the Netherlands take the first step toward a deep World Cup run? One way or another, this feels like a match nobody should overlook. And the World Cup is only getting started.